The Florida housing market is in serious trouble, at least if you believe some of the mass media that is continuing to push a narrative. And look, I'm not confused. I know the dynamics of what the market are. I know exactly what's going on in the economy. And there are lots of things that are terrifying. There are lots of economic and global financial changes that are happening every day. And I'm not going to beat that drum because I beat it to death. But I couldn't help but notice this morning that there's a new list out that is very, very interesting because I follow and track so many different things, and I see so many different content creators putting out certain types of content that is meant to make you feel a certain way. And I feel a fiduciary responsibility to tell you the truth. And right now, actually take that back. On January 12th, Celia Fernandez wrote that these are the 10 best U.S. metros to buy a house in 2024, and none of them are in Florida. Then she goes on to say how Toledo, Ohio is the #1 metro to buy a house in 2024. And that's followed by Oxnard, Thousand Oaks, Ventura, California, Rochester, New York, San Diego, Chula Vista, Carlsbad, California, Riverside, San Bernardino, Ontario, California. I almost said Canada, Ontario, Canada, but that's not true. We're talking about California Metro, Bakersfield Metro, California, Springfield, Massachusetts, Worcester, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Grand Rapids, Kentwood, Michigan, and Los Angeles, Long Beach, Anaheim, California. Those are the best metros to buy in 2024, according to Celia Fernandez. But exactly 1 week later, after talking about the 10 best U.S. metros to buy a house in 2024, she comes out and contradicts herself completely. But the title of this article is that these are the best and worst U.S. metro areas for first-time homebuyers. And they rank what's best for first-time homebuyers by the following criteria: mortgage affordability, market access, bargaining power, employment growth, and livability. Well, none of these worst U.S. metros include Florida. None of them are in Florida. But a week after she made an article talking about the 10 U.S. metros to buy a house in 24, and none are in Florida. Well, a week later, number 7 in terms of the best metro to live in is Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach Metro. What changed in a week? I can tell you, nothing. Not one thing changed this past week that would make Florida a better place to live or a worse place to live. And I can assure you that most of the people that call me are living in places that are on the next best place to live list for 2024. I get tons of people calling me from California. I get tons of people calling me from the Northeast. It's not coincidental to me that most of the best places in the metro list, according to this last list, they're all blue states, but Texas, well, nowhere to be found. And maybe that's got something to do with the fact that the border crisis is a major problem and people don't want to live in a place that is being invaded. I don't know. I don't live there. But I do know this. Supply and demand will always dictate price, period. And the market is always good for someone. From a real estate agent perspective, my job is to pivot to whomever it's best for, and then serve and support them at the highest level so they get what they want. I must be able to advocate and negotiate the right way given market conditions in order for my clients to win. And right now, most people who are reading these headline articles and getting hope pumped up their rear end, or perhaps getting their hopes deflated by Celia Fernandez, who wrote both articles that are completely contradictory, but I suspect most home buyers who are watching, or including home sellers too, anybody who's following the market and reads these articles is probably punch drunk because they've been beaten submissively nonstop, not just by the headline news, but also by content creators. Who is telling the truth? It seems like nobody. The truth is, market conditions are going to vary, period. Rates are going to trade. Mortgage interest rates are going to fluctuate. They're going to go up and down, period. Home values are going to go up and down. And the trend thus far in my market is not your friend. Now, I did see a news article recently talking about that there's been an uptick in FHA buyers, and I haven't sourced or validated that to be true or not, but if I'll take it at face value, well, that's great. That means that those folks who were completely shunned during the last boom, during the last frenzy, because I got news for you, if you were working with an agent who presented your offer as an FHA offer, you had 0% chance of getting that offer accepted. If you had a savvy realtor who knew what they were doing, they would have disguised your lending in a way to make it seem like you were a cash offer. And that was the only way you were getting your offer potentially accepted. It would not be considered at all if you did not play that game, if you did not know how to advocate and negotiate for your client the right way. And those tactics, those tricks are always going to change depending on what the market conditions are, which is why you need someone who understands what the tricks and tactics are given the current market that we're in. And the reality of it is, here in my market, there is a shortage of land. There is not a lot of resale activity. There's a tremendous drop in overall transaction count. But that doesn't mean people don't need to sell, and it doesn't mean that people don't need to buy. In fact, I'm seeing that refinances are upticking significantly, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense given the interest rate environment that we're in. But if they're looking to use their home as a piggy bank, maybe they're open to that possibility. Maybe they don't mind paying that extra rate. I don't know what they're thinking, but I do know the long tail consequence of these things is not good. I just don't know what the timeline on it is. And neither does anybody else. So there's no calls, there's no predictions, there's none of that. It's simply right now there is a glut of folks that are frozen by bad information. And the worst place that you can be is frozen. You must know what's actually happening in the market that you're interested in, and then you need to drill down into the hyper-local dynamics of what's happening, because what's happening on a street might be different than what's happening in the neighborhood. I watched a video recently of someone who's selling waterfront property, and it's actually a pretty good video. I give them props. But the things that they were talking about to consider when buying a waterfront home, to me, are obvious. It didn't occur to me that I should do a video similar to this because, I don't know, because I forget how important the information that lives in my head is that I'm not making content about. But if you're buying a waterfront home, yeah, there are lots of considerations you must be aware of. You need to know how many fixed bridges there are, or if there are fixed bridges, if you want to have a certain type of boat. You need to know which way the home is facing in order to get maximum breeze and or sunshine and or privacy. You need to know the depth of the canal. You need to know exactly what type of boat will optimally fit there. And there are lots of other considerations too. But getting back to the point, there is Celia Fernandez is the number one target of my rant today, because last week she talks about one thing and completely contradicts herself 1 week later. And I know how frustrating that is to the people that I talk to on a regular basis, which thankfully, that number's been on the uptick. So if there's ever anything I can do to help serve or support you at the highest level, please reach out. We would love to help. If you're not in my market, do not fear. We know all-star agents and professionals throughout the country who will advocate and negotiate for you the right way, that understand the market similarly to me. They are experts, and they will ensure you get exactly what you want. And what I want is for everybody to max out South Florida living to the fullest. If you found value, please like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and until next time, peace!